Yo, what's up everybody? It's Crazy Arcane, sugarcane.com, CACTV. That's right, it is now April. April is in full and total effect, so it's time to talk about the top 3 bikes from back in March 2025 for Bike of the Day. Lots of people are loving the series, and we got some real nice bikes that were sent in last month. And we're going to go over the top 3 bikes. Which bike was the top bike for March 2025? We're going to get right into it right now. Starting with bike number 3, sent in by Wacky NG. This is a 2013 St. Martin 10 Flatland BMX bike with a really nice black-orange colorway. This bike really pops. I love the pictures. The picture quality on this bike is dope. So, you know, the presentation always is important when it comes to presenting your bike, and Wacky did a great job. This is the 3rd Flatland bike that Wacky sent, and all his Flatland bikes are fresh. And you can see right here, these are Wacky's fresh Flatland bikes that won Bike of the Year in 2023 and 2024. So we're gonna find out if he's gonna win that again this year with that awesome build that he has. And also, just to let y'all know, he won some fresh prizes. You got the MX mug bobblehead, and here are his medals right here. And he also got a sugarcane t-shirt. All right, so people are getting some nice swag when they win for Bike of the Year, so you definitely should submit your bike, because you never know what you might get at the end of the year if you win Bike of the Year. But right now, it's all about the St. Martin 10. I love the color scheme on this bike with the orange and black. You also have a little white in there to go with the decals on the frame. So it's just a nice spread of colors right there, looking real fresh. Wacky says, hey everyone, I'd like to introduce my St. Martin 10, a limited edition Flatland bike frame released in 2013 to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the French company St. Martin. This frame features double top tubes and the bent down tube design elements that are rare in modern Flatland bikes. St. Martin designed this frame as a tribute to classic models like the Harrow Master and GT Performer. It boasts shorter top tubes and modern geometry, aligning with contemporary Flatland riding styles. Inspired by the decals, I customized my build with the black, orange, and white color scheme. And he says, for videos and additional pictures, visit his Instagram page. He's got more pictures up there. And of course, there's also more pictures on the article where I feature his bike, and also where you can come and give his bike a rate and all that good stuff. All right, so big shout out to Wacky NG for showing love to the site and submitting these awesome bikes for real. So real quick, let's go through the parts list, son. All right, once again, this is a St. Martin 10 frame. The forks are St. Martin AJ forks, St. Martin Ian bars, Swallow BMX stem, ODI long neck XL grips, a cinema headset, Odyssey intact rail seat post, Origin 8 seat, Shadow Conspiracy seat post clamp, St. Martin Evo 160mm cranks, Autumn BMX sprocket. I like that sprocket, that's pretty fresh. Conspiracy interlink chain, MKS pedals, Far East Cycles hubs, Revenge Industry rims, KHE Mac 1.75 tires, and the Swallow BMX pegs. And I really like all the white highlights in here. You got the stylish peg right here with the orange one in the front, the white one in the back. I'm looking to see everything on this bike. I'm really just liking how it's all laid out. It's real dope. Got those long grips on it. Look how long those grips are. Crazy. Even the decals on the tires match the rest of the frame. You got the orange and you have the white. Those KHE Mac 1 tires. Really adds to the flavor of the bike right here. So you got the embossed head tube. Let's go down to the ratings here. We got a total color score of 8.34, originality 8.3, parts 8.44, overall style 8.57, giving it a total overall rating score of 8.41. The latest ratings came from Andrew Cohen, who gave it a 7.5 overall, and Rag Topri gave it a 9.91. Bike got 7 dope reactions and 4 love it reactions. Also got 9 likes, aka upvotes, and it got 12 comments. So definitely come back to the comment section and check out the conversation going on about this bike here. A bunch of people came on here and was chopping it up about the bike and talking about it, so definitely come back and check out the conversation, and you can come in and interact with the members and guests of sugarcane.com and join the conversation too. All right, coming in number 2, we got this fresh 2013 Prophecy Scud Evo, looking real nice with that custom red colorway. Man, this bike just really pops with this colorway. Actually, this bike was submitted by Andrew Cohen, who left a rating on the last bike, And yeah, this bike is fire, man. Got the custom paint job on there. Never seen this one before. It's like a liquid red color. And there's lots of details to this bike that you can't really see in the photos, but I will talk about that in a minute. Also got the matching glossy forks, and I think these are anodized rims. I don't think these got custom painted, but these are probably the anodized Sun Envy rims right here. So the bike really looks dope. And there's some nice little treats on here that we're going to talk about in a second, but let's go to the inspiration for the build. Andrew said he brought this frame from his team owner, Jeff Hinkle of Reject Racing out of Wichita, Kansas. He says his Supercross build was hated pretty good in Bike of the Year last year. So there's that. It's just how it is here on the internet. Can't have nothing nice. Andrew goes on to say it has been sprayed, painted over multiple times, and was scratched pretty good. So he found Ryan at Midcoat Customs in Automotive and Paint in Derby, Kansas. He had no problem working with carbon fiber. Andrew told him he wanted a one-of-a-kind red and black colorway, and he said he had an idea in mind. That guy is a genius. He got it done in time for his son to ride it at the Grands and come in 7th place. Nice. He ended up chipping the paint pretty deep on the bike rack and took the bike back to Ryan. He repaired the chip, put a new paint job on it, and left some of the old ripping out because he loved it so much. He found the awesome seat that fit right in from Chris Erner. Chris actually handmade the seat, but Andrew said it was hard for him to let it go. And finally, Andrew says, to me, this bike screams rad. And we all started calling it the Monster. And that seat is crazy. There's a lot of detail put into that, and you got the It character on there, and there's no way I'll be sitting on that seat, but it looks fresh. All right, so let's go into the parts list, son. We got a 2013 Prophecy Evo Scud, custom painted with that custom crazy paint. Custom painted Answer forks. You have an Onyx Helix hub in the front and an Onyx in the rear. Diogo Faster tire in the rear. Maxxis Torch tire in the front. 53mm box 2 stem. 8-inch rise, 11 bars. Pro Max linear pull, brake, and brake lever. Custom Pennywise seat from the movie It. You don't want to sit on that seat. You have a box 2 30mm crankset with Praxis 30mm Euro bottom bracket, box 2 45 tooth chain ring. You have a black Krupi Pro chain, red HTT2 clipless pedals, Prophecy chain tensioners and seat post clamp, and you have a generic carbon seat post. And look at that seat. Look at that seat. You ain't sitting on that joint. I ain't sitting on that seat. It's dope. You can look at it, but I ain't sitting on it. No way. Now we take a little closer look at the paint job. You can see the black in there embedded, like burnt in. There's a lot of layers of paint done to this. We all float down here on the top cap, which is cool. So if you look right here, you can see the detail in the paint job, how you got the little tear thing. You got the scales in there, which look like they changed colors in the sunlight. So it's got a little orange up in there, a little red up in there. Really detailed on there. You gotta take a real close look at this frame to really get a good look at it. Onyx! Got the Onyx hub right here in the rear, and you can see more details of the paint job. Look at that. I'm digging the double screws for the chain tensioner, so you can really lock that in. Take a look right here. You can see more subliminal details on the frame. And look at that top tube. Look at the details on that top tube right there, boy. Check that out. Look at all this little detail that's put into here. It's a really, really fabulous job done on this frame. I'm trying to tell you. Look at that, boy. That looks real fresh up in the front. So in the rating section, the total color score is a 9.14, originality 8.95, parts 8.94, original style 9.01, giving it a total rating score of a 9.01. We had Ron Hines, who gave it some hate. Look at what Ron Hines gave it, a 6.42. Gave it a 6.7 for the color, 5.43 originality, 6.49 on the parts. What kind of crack is he smoking? I don't know. But anyways, if you guys don't agree with what he put down, I don't agree with what he put down, but you go in there and give your input by rating this bike and help this bike get a better rating, a better total overall rating score. So the more people that come and rate the bikes, better or worse, the higher or lower the bike will go on the chart. So it's really up to y'all to make this bike go where you want it to go. So I don't agree with Ron Hines on this one, but I do agree with Ryan. Ryan definitely knows what's up. He gave it all 10s. I'll give it all 10s. Let me give him a little click up, man. Thank you for giving it all 10s. I think this bike definitely gets 10s or at least something in the 9s, but a 642 is mighty low for this bike right here, in my opinion. You got 6 dopes, 16 lovers, and 4 snap reactions. Also got 18 likes, aka upvotes. And it's very important. I'll explain that a little bit later, but it's very important that people like your bike, because there is a whole other section on the site where I talk about that particular topic. 37 comments. People have been talking about this bike ever since I posted it. Deep conversations in here. We also have comments from Andrew about the bike, and we also have comments from the guy who actually painted the bike, and he goes into detail about what he did with the bike and kind of explained his process for how he painted it. So definitely come back to the website and check out the conversations going on down with this bike right here. And that leaves us with bike number one. The number one bike of the day is a 1986 GT Pro, sent in by Troy Thomas. Now, Troy Thomas has been sending in some bangers to sugarcane.com. I really appreciate Troy for sending bikes in and showing love to the site. And all his bikes look fresh, and he takes some really, really good pictures. You see his signature on his photos right here. So he takes some awesome pictures as well as builds some really awesome bikes. So yeah, it's a 1986 classic GT Pro 20-inch in the blue and chrome colorway. I always love this color scheme on the old school bikes. You got the polished, you got that show chrome finish on the majority of the parts, along with the blue, and that's always a winning color combination in my eyes. And Troy did a really good job of putting this bike together. That bike right there is fresh, and he got the pads, and he got the number plate on there. Bike is dope. So Thomas said he'd been out of BMX for a couple of decades and built this to race at the track. Then his homies told him that he needed a new school bike for all of that. So that's what Troy said about this bike. So he built this one up to race with, and his boy said, nah, hold up. You might want to save it for an old school race, but for this modern day racing, gotta get yourself a modern day bike. So, all right, so let's go into the parts list on this bike right here. And another thing I appreciate about Tony is he always gives me a super duper full parts list of his bike. So let's go down the list here. So once again, it's a 1986 GT frame and fork set. We got the 4-piece GT handlebars. This is like the best picture of the handlebars because the number plate's blocking it on any of the shots. But yeah, the 4-piece GT handlebars are on here. You also have a DK stem. We got the customized Harrow Tech number plate looking real fresh. Got the number 3 on there with the GT sticker. Got the Oakley sticker representing the old school. With that, bike looks so fresh, man. These pictures are really nice. You got the bullseye hub with the bullseye. Ooh, that's fresh. You got the blue stainless steel spokes. You got the red nipples, red alloy nipples on there. Pro class rims. You remember the pro class rims with the little holes in there? GT stamp chain ring bolts right here, looking real fresh in that glossy colorway. You got the GT stamp chain ring, 45 tooth. We got the OG GT stamp seat post clamp, looking real fresh right here. Then we also have a GT seat representing right here. You got the 1983 GT Santa Ana decals on the bike. You got those fresh GT donuts on the AME grips. I love when people put the little details on the bike, like the GT valve stem dice right here. That's a really fresh detail. And speaking of dice in detail, you got the GT brake cable dice. What? That's real fresh. You got the classic Diacomp brakes here in anodized blue. You got that fresh bullseye bottom bracket on there. Loving that bottom bracket. That's real fresh. You got that glossy, super dope looking bullseye crank set. These are 175mm cranks, and man, them things is pretty. I would love to have myself a set of bullseye cranks to really make my bike look flashy. Boy, you also have that show chrome finish bullseye spider looking really, really fresh. Everything looks fresh on this bike. All right, so there's a bullseye brake lever on here. This is the best picture of the brake lever that I have. I'm surprised Tony didn't give me a good picture of the brake lever. But we got it right here, the bullseye brake lever in that blue anodized colorway, of course. You also got the fresh bullseye chain tensioner right here in red. Here's a little bit more of a close-up of the chain tensioner. Oh boy. Oh boy, we got the Bassett Racing Bear Trap pedals. You know them Bear Trap pedals, boy, they'll tear your shins up. But that is a classic pedal style right there that we hold near and dear to our hearts. And now that there's all of these variety of shin pads you can get, should be no problems not getting your shins messed up, having those really spiky pedals. So shin pads should always be worn if you're rocking the bike with some Bear Trap pedals, that's for sure. You got the chrome Azumi chain. We got the AME blue and white Unitron grips, looking real fresh. Used to love those grips. Used to give me some really nice callus as well. We also have a nice red Token Arsenal 16-tooth freewheel, and he has a laid-back seat post straight up for eBay, and he threw a GT sticker on there to make it official. He's got the Flight GT pad set on there on the frame. He's got the classic Tioga 320 headset on there. I remember when the headsets came like this to help keep it from getting loose, little washer they have here that locks into the headset. This is not a decal, this is not a sticker, this is the classic Harrow push pin number. I remember that. I used to have one of these number plates. I should have remembered that. There's a push pin number that's made special for this mesh number plate. You got the red Odyssey brake cable, DK stem right there, the classic DK stem. We have the blue Cool Stop brakes on here. Yo, did he mention the tires? Hold up. Troy, did you mention the tires on here, man? I don't think I seen tires on this bad boy, man. I got all kind of other stuff, but I don't have tires. So let's see the ratings on this bike. He's got an 8.99 on the colorway, 8.95 originality, 9.18 parts, and an 8.99 overall style, giving it a total overall rating score of a 9.03. Got 21 ratings on this bike, and the last two people to rate this bike gave it all 10s. You got Diamond DI Rock, and you also have Lily Rose, who gave bike 10s across the board. And definitely this bike is a stunner, showstopper, 10 across the board. I had to give them some likes for their ratings, because that's what this bike is. Definitely a 10 in my book. He's got 12 dope and 9 love it reactions, and he also has 17 likes, aka up votes on the bike. 13 comments. People was chatting it up about the bike here. They got 13 comments, and you guys can go in there and also add comments to the website. Actually become a member to sugarcane.com. You have a bunch of members: Brian Compton, Rag Topri, who actually is Troy Thomas. This is Troy's account on the site, so you can go give him a comment and tell him what you think about his bike and all that good stuff. And we also have Donna. There's a whole bunch of people that are members to the site, and I really appreciate all my members, all the members to sugarcane.com for being active on the site, showing love and supporting the site. It really helps the site grow. It goes a long way. So, and we also have some cool things for members on the site at the end of the year. So definitely get active on the site and represent, show some love. All right, y'all. So that is the top 3 bikes for March 2025. But it's not over yet. I have some things I have to show y'all that I was talking about earlier. If you're still with me at this point, I want to show you some things. All right, so we have a bike of the month chart, and I'm gonna show you some of the bikes that were featured bike of the month in March. Coming in 4th place, we have that 2024 Crenshaw 20-inch. We also have a GT Performer 26-inch cruiser. There's also a 2024 Cult Big Bam 24-inch cruiser on there in 6th place. In 7th place, we have the Chad Curley V1 Harold Custom, which was inspired by Nigel Sylvester's Brick by Brick sneaker release. Definitely check that bike out. And then in 8th place, we have a 24-inch version, 1994 GT Pro Series. So those are the 8 bikes that were featured in March. There's a couple more that was submitted, but the pictures weren't done the way they really were supposed to. Somebody took a picture of his bike in the garage. Somebody didn't give me the side view of the bike. They would give me all kind of weird angles where it's like, I need the side view. As you can see here on the website, there's a couple people who didn't really give me super side views, but these type of side views is what I need, especially for this list here, so you can actually see the bikes like that. Very important to give you those photos the way that I mentioned in the submission form, or else your bike will not get featured. And I'm a busy guy, so I'm not going to email everybody to tell you what you did wrong, but you should know, don't skip past the instructions and not follow them. So please follow the instructions. If you guys got some dope BMX bikes of any size or type, or dirt jumpers, front suspension only, no full suspension, but if you have a dirt jumper with some fresh style, definitely send it in, submit it to Bike of the Day. I got the link in the description, so please do that. All right, it's Crazy Out Kane, sugarcane.com, CACTV, and I'm out. Back to you, Billy.